UFOs. And today we have a special news report because myself and Beth have joined in the shed to talk about what's latest news on UFOs. How's it going, Beth?
Oh, it's going fantastic. I'm really excited about today's topic.
Right, okay, and this takes us to a place, and I'm sure that you chose this report on purpose because I have an issue with some of the longer words. So this this sighting actually takes place at Popo.
Catapedal.
Who?
Popocatépetl.
It sounds like something a cat might chase. However, let's roll the video here. This is it's live footage from the live camera, and this volcano is active.
Correct. Yeah, it's very active. And Popocatépetl is actually one of the top UFO sighting volcanoes in the world. And there's also a lot of sightings, including biped unknown figures walking on this volcano with footwear that's not human. So there's a lot of conspiracy theory, a lot of UFO sightings, and a lot of other things happening here. And if you can't pronounce Popocatépetl with whatever accent each of us has, that was a Canadian accent, you can call it the Popo, and that's its nickname.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so which would be very apt with all the strange activity that's taking place in volcanoes across the world. I mean,
Absolutely.
we actually have seen many different sightings, and here on this particular sighting that has just taken place, you see these lights traversing across the horizon. It is a time delay camera that's on this volcano, so it kind of takes a shot every second. So this object here is really covering a lot of ground as we talk. But early on in this video, you actually see at about where this unidentified object is right now, there's another dark
Shadowed kind of
shadow
behavior pattern. There's something that happens in the lower right hand of the screen.
that, and it comes into the screen and it leaves. So you guys might want to. Well, I'll replay just that section here at the end of the news section on the volcanoes here. But I mean, we really are seeing, right around the world that there's strange activity. Here's a Costa Rican sighting of a UFO, and you can see here that the bright light goes into the clouds, comes out of the clouds, and then kind of disappears behind this volcano in Costa Rica, and then it reappears in the sky right here.
Yeah, actually, it's an elliptical orbit and at an unusual angle. So, in that Costa Rica volcano, I've actually lived on that volcano, and there's a lot of particularly unusual supernatural, paranormal, and UFO activity that happens on that particular volcano. And I've never seen a UFO do such a strange elliptical orbit as I did in that video clip.
Right, and here's another volcano in Costa Rica
Mm-hmm.
right now, and these were still images taken of what is a UFO. It looks like it's almost got, the typical dome shape here, with some bits sticking off it. So there's definitely some strange activity that takes
It
place.
reminds me of the antenna described in the 1966 Michigan Dexter UFO video that we covered in one of our shit show talk videos.
Yeah.
And they claimed that there was antenna coming out the sides, almost like uh, measuring the atmosphere.
I mean, we've caught these things on camera shooting, almost disappearing into the volcanoes, which really leads to the conspiracy theory that there is these bases
Yes.
that are under these volcanoes. And some people have even said that these volcanic eruptions have just kind of stopped, almost as if they've shot maybe ice into them or something like that. But it's very, very strange. There's a lot of activity right now around these volcanoes. There has been really throughout time, and we can actually check back through the historical records where the early precursor of the human race was carving paintings into this, where they'd actually seen the sightings.
Yeah, and what I really like about this video that's on the screen right now is that the object in this one had a dual orb appearance, just like the first video we watched in Popocatépetl. You can
Which
actually
I put
see.
on the screen here now for
Yeah,
us.
thank you. You can actually see as that one moves across, it has a very similar shape and formation as to
Hmm.
the video just prior to it. And these are different footages from different cameras at different times of day, and they're mirroring one another. And I find that really curious.
Right, that's true. So I think what we can definitely tell is that if there's an eruption, there's usually some kind of phenomena surrounding that eruption that we can't explain that's on camera. So it's very, very interesting what's going on with these volcanoes.
Yeah, if anybody has any tips or any pictures,
Hmm.
I'm particularly interested in UFOs and volcanoes. And as you heard me mention, spending some time on a volcano definitely opened my interest to activities surrounding them. And there is such a strong theory, Paul, that these are potential UFO bases, maybe 4 to 7 kilometers under the ground. And others have even thought they're perhaps military bases. But there's three things going on. Something's underground, something's being shot into volcanoes that might actually be triggering or preventing activity in a volcano. What's that all about?
Hmm.
And the third is that when these volcanoes erupt on the mountain range, you're seeing all kinds of reports pop up in different sightings. So has anybody actually sat down and collected all these together and made some kind of cumulative investigation into what's going on at volcanoes? And maybe that's something you, the viewers, can do with us at Shed Show Talk, and we can talk about what we find.
Absolutely. Well, certainly Popo volcano. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name again because it just doesn't sit well with me. Certainly some interesting stuff going on there. And we'll keep our eye on all the different volcanic activity which coincides with it. Our next sighting takes us to Midrand in South Africa. And this gentleman's been seeing a lot of unidentified flying phenomena in his skies recently. So he's been ready to record this sighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a UFO scout. He believes in ufology, and so for somebody who scouts UFOs to be able to see one and record it and share that with the rest of us, man, that's an exciting time.
Yeah, and he does a great description of what it is that he's seen, and I'm
Yeah.
going to read that at the end of the video. Let's watch his clip here.
Oh, that's definitely moving. Thank you. Wow.
So there we go. Definitely something flashing in the sky that is moving along there. He's been seeing these quite a lot recently. Who knows what it is that he captured there? But let me read out his long form report here.
Yeah.
And it says, I was looking for a craft which I could video, as I had seen a couple of UFOs previously. It hovered over the distance. I've been trying to connect via conscious thought, which is really interesting because this
Yeah.
is now taking hold in both the spiritual world and the ufology field, that they connect these beings and they kind of come.
Absolutely. And this is a field I'm really interested in, is the crossover between science and spirituality, which is really interesting. And Harvard, as I mentioned to you earlier, Paul, did a study and they believe they've cracked human consciousness. And they can actually measure the weight of a thought. So every time we have a thought or an emotion, it actually has a tangible substance and weight that emits from us out into the universe. So when you're thinking about something, positive or negative, you're actually creating a substance. And this opens up a field of study that blows my mind. But when it comes to ufology, the potential is there to say, you know, if I call them, will they come? And what he's saying is he had the conscious thought, he called them, and it came.
Well, and we've been seeing this crossover. I mean, let's think about this. You know, ghost hunters have been doing Ouija boards for years
Yeah,
to call
mediums
out
and
spirits. Yeah, absolutely. And now it seems to be a crossover into the ufology field. I'm going to roll a news clip here that was took by ABC News when they were reporting on somebody that potentially or can summon UFOs. Let's have a look at this clip.
He says the voice in his head told him to go public now, so we took him up on his offer, and we scanned the skies. Nothing but a few clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, O Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh, brother, look here, there it is.
You can barely barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story. I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast.
It's going to Nellis Air Force Base. It wants to be seen.
So there we go. There is now a correlation between potentially calling UFOs. So I think if any of you guys are watching, now go out into your yard, check out, call out for a UFO, take something recording with you, and let's see how many of you can send us videos.
Yeah, well, and this is where I pipe in it. And I've done a lot of interviews with psychics, mediums, priests, pastors, and the whole gamut in between. And I can tell you, they'd always ask you to have caution before you summon something you don't know or you don't understand. And that's just coming from a field of thousands of years of people summoning beings or objects from the great beyond.
Beth, after this news report, let's go out onto the deck here with some recording equipment, and I'm going to call out for a UFO, and we'll put the result on.
Well, maybe we could tell people about that camping trip, and there was an attempt. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Well, I think we can save that for another day, but I would like to let's take our video recording equipment. Let's see if we can call a UFO, and we'll put an update here on our channel soon.
Our next sighting comes out of Illinois at a place called Lake Story Park in Galesburg, and this sighting is truly spectacular. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this one, Paul?
Well, yeah, this guy was out in the park here that we just saw on the screen, and he was taking pictures. And when he's actually looked at the pictures afterwards, he spotted that there's this bluish green orb in the trees. And you can see on the right side of this picture, there's a boat, and the boat seems a lot smaller than this orb, so it was a pretty large thing.
And what's interesting is if you look at the approximation of those people, that would make this orb at least 8 feet in diameter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And what I like about this is he said when he looked at his camera, he couldn't see what he could see with his naked eye. Like his physical vision and his camera vision were seeing two different things.
Oh, right. So he actually saw this in the camera
Yes.
footage as he was taking it, but he couldn't see it with the naked eye.
Absolutely. And this is something I've come across in a few of my videos when I'm looking at orbs, is that people will either sense something and see it, but there seems to be a distinct difference between physical vision, camera vision, and some would argue even spiritual vision.
Wow, that's incredible. And you've actually got the original Facebook footage post here.
Yeah. And what he said is, look what I captured while taking pictures today. Look at the size of it compared to the two people in the boat. And you can see it's behind the trees in the woods. You be the judge what it is.
Wow, that's great.
What is it?
I have absolutely no idea what this could be. I mean, it's strange that he could see it in his camera viewfinder, but he couldn't actually see it with his own eye. I mean, we have seen stuff like that. There was the Chilean naval video that was released just recently, and that was really only visible on the infrared spectrum. So we do see where the human eye isn't catching these things, as almost if they are cloaked to the human eye, but our mechanical items are capturing these.
Yeah, and it can work both ways. I've seen reports where people could see something with their eye. They go to record it, and it just looks like a dot in the sky.
Yeah.
And that's quite common in UFO sightings. And then on the flip side, somebody might sense something, but they can't see it, and a camera will pick it up. Or in another case, they might be oblivious to it altogether and then notice something, as this gentleman did. He looked at his camera and he thought, what on earth is this? Now, because it's behind the trees, it really automatically rules out having a reflection.
Yes, that's right, because you can see the branches and everything in front of it for sure. Really interesting story there. And if anybody else saw this in the park or was taking photographs, there's definitely other people about there, then let us know here at shedshowtalk@gmail.com.
And also, if you know of any other stories pertaining to this park, perhaps there's some ghosts or mysteries or things. We do a lot of crossover subjects here on Shed Show Talk. We like to talk about all things unidentified, unclassified, so...
Absolutely. Well, it definitely looks like a very popular place, a beautiful lake right there. And it's called Story Lake.
So there's got to be a story.
There has to be.
Well, you know what? I'm really glad that it's springtime and we were able to get back out into the shed because it's been too long since we've done a recording together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun.
Thanks for watching us here at Shed Show Talk. We really appreciate you guys viewing this video to the end. And don't forget, hit subscribe on your way out.
Absolutely. And remember to keep your eyes to the sky and
Be ready to record at any time.